Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and did Loki just completely rewrite Marvel history with a cartoon clock? Loki's arrest by the TVA in episode 1 included an insightful animated sequence dropping major reveals about past multiversal wars, godly timekeepers, and how merely punching in late for work makes you a time terrorist. What is this, an Amazon shipping center? This cartoon is a classic everything's fine assurance that you just know is foreshadowing inevitable chaos later in the story. And with terms like Multiversal War and Nexus event, and promises from Kevin Feige that Loki will have the most impact on the MCU of all of its shows, I think Miss Minutes just laid out not only how Loki creator Michael Waldron is calling the shots for his Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness script, but also Feige's bigger plans for the next Avengers 5 crossover event. So as he's being processed in the TVA, Loki enters a room with empty rows of stanchions designed clearly to force variants to watch this animated sequence from TVA mascot Miss Minutes, who explains,
"Long ago, there was a vast multiversal war. Countless unique timelines battled each other for supremacy, nearly resulting in the total destruction of, well, everything."
She then says the all-knowing timekeepers brought peace by condensing this multiverse into the sacred timeline, and that if too many variants step off this timeline and create unchecked Nexus events, that could
branch off into madness, leading to another multiversal war.
Now, there are a few ways you could interpret this. First is that Marvel could be laying the groundwork for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, especially with the words multiverse and madness appearing in the same sentence there, and by bringing back the term Nexus, last seen in WandaVision as a nod to Wanda Maximoff's being a Nexus being who can transcend realities, Marvel's plan with Loki is to unravel this sacred timeline into tangled branches that the Scarlet Witch could get lost in during her search for a reality with her children, turning her into a god-level chaotic threat that Doctor Strange will have to deal with. But speaking of Doctor Strange, doesn't this TVA history contradict what the Ancient One told us about the multiverse in the past? For one, in Endgame, the Ancient One said,
"The Infinity Stones create what you experience as the flow of time."
But now, according to the TVA, the Timekeepers do that.
Now, the timekeepers protect and preserve the proper flow of time for everyone and everything.
And the Infinity Stones are about as valuable as hot sauce in the package drawer. Still useful, just, low trade-in value. Also, Miss Minute says long ago there was a vast multiversal war, implying that the modern era of MCU history has been all part of one sacred timeline. But doesn't that contradict the Ancient One previously blasting Doctor Strange through several dimensions, all while asking him,
"Who are you in this vast multiverse?"
Now, it is worth keeping in mind that this is all propaganda from the TVA. It's cooked up by the TVA Narrative Commission, so you can only trust this history so much. But on the other hand, Mobius does say time works differently in the TVA. Loki was arrested after the Battle of New York in 2012, 4 years before the Ancient One met Doctor Strange and talked about the multiverse in the present tense like that. And to the TVA, the events of Endgame, set in multiple eras of time, all kind of unfold simultaneously from their perspective, kind of like how they could just step into years 1549 or 1858. So the events of the Loki series could still create, or rather recreate, the multiverse as we know it in those other MCU films. This is why I've suggested that time in the MCU could be a flat circle, which Multiversal War long ago is the same Multiversal War that the MCU is about to cycle back into in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, if that's too confusing, doesn't float your boat, another way of looking at this past Multiversal War is that maybe all that floating fuselage is the aftermath of a war between cosmic entities like the Celestials. In my Marvel Family Tree video, I explained how the Celestials came about after a war with the Aspirants in the first firmament. But really, that's more dawn of the universe kind of stuff rather than historical timelines battling for supremacy. So there is a third way of interpreting this as a nod to Marvel's Secret Wars event. Like, trust me, readers of Marvel Comics saw those interweaving realities zapping each other and we were like, ooh, Secret Wars. Before we continue, thanks to Upstart for sponsoring this video. Is your monthly credit card balance keeping you up at night, sweating through your sheets like your air conditioner's broken? Well, Upstart can be that blast of cool air to help you finally feel the relief of being credit card debt free. Upstart is a fast fast and easy way to get a personal loan to pay off your debt all online. Over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple fixed monthly payment. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for loans from $1,000 to $50,000. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and other information provided in your loan application. You can get approved the same day and can receive funds as fast as 1 business day. Don't let your credit card debt give you the night sweats. Those should only come from being scared of the monster who lives under your bed. So find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/newrockstars. That's upstart.com/newrockstars. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/newrockstars. Now, quickly on why this is such a big deal. There are actually 2 Secret Wars crossover events in the comics. The first was in 1985 when the Beyonder teleported Marvel heroes and villains to his Battle World realm to duke it out. But the more recent Secret Wars event was in 2015, and it featured a more apocalyptic collision between Marvel Earth 616 and the Ultimate Marvel Earth 1610 in a much richer battle world landscape, this time assembled by Doctor Doom. And it begins with these universe versus universe incursions, which feature electric bolts filling the atmosphere, with similar imagery of lightning in little zaps between the timelines in the TVA animation. And later on that holoprojector film strip, you do see the number 616. So while the MCU is set in Earth 199999, maybe the TVA has connections to Earth 616 in a past Multiversal War. And yeah, Miss Bennett's Multiversal War could be referring to a past Secret Wars event, either with a past age of heroes, or if time is a flat circle, a future Avengers lineup, including the Fantastic Four and X-Men that we will be looping back to in a few years. Look, I love Secret Wars, and Avengers Endgame directors, the Russo brothers, teased that an Avengers Secret Wars movie could be a title they'd return to direct. But I think we have to admit, knowing Marvel Studios' track record, I doubt they would jump into a Secret Wars event right away and instead build up to it. But I do think the first step was taken here with Loki. See, WandaVision left us with the Scarlet Witch as a fully powered Nexus being, armed with the Darkhold, obsessed with finding a reality with her children, as hints in the post-credit scene and reveals from the creators that Doctor Strange was far more intertwined with Wanda's descent than it seemed. And now Loki is giving us clearer definitions of how Nexus beings impact the fabric of reality, and how dangerous and chaotic the multiverse is to the existing order of the MCU, inevitably unraveling the Timekeeper's sacred timeline into a Multiverse of Madness, featuring Doctor Strange, which could end up being a kind of sorcerer war involving Doctor Strange, the Scarlet Witch, maybe even Loki. But I hope that it results in a House of M-inspired convergence. Perhaps Doctor Strange merges everything back into a new restored sacred timeline, but now including mutants in the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. Cue the Fantastic Four movie, and then after that, Secret Wars. And it all started with a little cartoon spark. Wait a minute, oh my god, that's the new Rockstars logo, we are in on it the whole time! Hey, you can support this channel by checking out our great Loki-inspired merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. They have an amazing Loki Out of Time shirt. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for breakdowns of everything Loki. Thanks for watching, bye.